Hi, this is Alex King. It's February 6th, 2010, and today I want to talk about Avatar. My wife and I went to see it finally last week, and of course, all the anthropologists are blogging about it and talking about it. There's been some interesting posts on Anthromedia listservs about the connections to anthropology and the ways it reverberates with our skeletons in colonial closets and various things like that. And of course, the human terrain systems kind of stuff. You know, the main character is this Jarhead, as he puts it. Remember the Jarhead clan, uh, giving intel on the indigenous to the army guys, or the mercenaries as they are for the company. Before then, he defects to become an Indian, as it were, and ride his dragon into battle. But the thing that really struck me was not the resonance with anthropology and all those connections, but actually how the film really conveys a sense of anthropology's total irrelevance. Uh, there's no sense that any of the insights or methods or specific ideas that anthropologists bring to encounters with radically different cultures or bridging cultural misunderstanding or any of these sorts of things is at all useful or interesting or needed. But rather, I was uh, struck by a resonance with a very old fashioned book, Tarzan by Edgar Rice Burroughs. A key aspect of Tarzan, as Edgar Rice Burroughs wrote that character, and that is not only his inherent goodness and near superhuman physical strength and agility, but also his near superhuman intelligence. Uh, Tarzan really is the Superman. He's nobody's slave, he's nobody's master. He teaches himself how to read and write English from school books in his parents' cabin, although he grows up as a native speaker of Gorilla. And then learns English as a second language learner from, of course, the American Jane. Now, the main character, Jake Scully, in Avatar, is not necessarily a genius, but being the identical twin of a PhD scientist, I guess he's given sort of above average intelligence, talent, in that sort of thing. But he's chosen a different life path. The soldier, the Marine, hasn't worked out all that well. He's only a corporal by the time he's catastrophically injured and left paraplegic. So he's had kind of a bummer life, run into a dead end, and then his life only gets worse when his twin brother is killed. But that gives him an opportunity for a new life, to literally take his brother's place in this genetically engineered, grown in a tank, an organism that is a hybrid human Pandoran creature. So apparently it has no soul, although it has a brain. Um, and through a sarcophagus, he can connect in his consciousness into this avatar, this flesh and blood alien human hybrid being, which looks more alien than human, although it does have facial characteristics very similar to the human from which its DNA was engineered. So, you know, his brother was going to go to this planet and do that stuff, but he goes instead. And of course, the scientists are all really pissed off. You know, they're all into the biology of the plants in particular, and we're expecting to get a colleague who can conduct independent research and all that. And you know, this guy doesn't have the skills and the training for that, so they assign him to guard duty when the scientists are running around out there. And the soldiers, then the colonel, sees this as an opportunity for him to have one of his own in among the scientists to get more intel on these hostile natives, because they're digging holes in their ground and taking unobtainium, which, you know, gold, basically. Plot spoiler. He ends up, of course, falling in love with the Cherokee Indian princess and uh, goes over to the side of the natives, see that they are ones communing with nature and all that. But he learns to speak this alien language, and it's a real language developed by a linguist based on human languages. So it's another human language. But anyway, it's radically different from any Indo-European language in a lot of ways. But he learns to speak this language fluently in about 3 months. And I've learned several languages, including ones as relatively easy for native English speakers like Spanish, and ones as very hard, such as Koryak. And in 3 months, I don't get very far. Well, this guy is a warrior. He's skilled in things like combat and hunting. Although the scientist does make this nice quip, hey Scully, it's not all hand-eye coordination. You need to learn how to see the forest. But he does. He learns how to see the forest. And he learns to do that. Well, I guess one could try and co-opt that for anthropology. Say, oh, he's got an anthropological interest. That he has this ethnographic curiosity. But as a matter of fact, he doesn't. It's not anthropological. He has a sincere and love for this other person who is an alien, and her people. And he sees his own world as one that's destroyed, and his own family as one that is dead, and his fellow humans as morally bankrupt, and basically abandons them, like an immigrant, for a new country and a new life, a brave new world. And so where's anthropology in all this? Well, it's not there. And indeed, it's not even necessary. What is most necessary is some good eye-hand coordination to be able to do things like fly around on dragons and ride horses with your USB tail plugged into their Scully. Jake Scully is not an anthropologist. He doesn't have an anthropological interest. He has no ethnographic sensibilities. He doesn't have all this great stuff, but yet it doesn't really matter. Indeed, any really smart guy who is also deep down a good person, good moral fortitude, and here we come back to Tarzan. And Tarzan has this innate intelligence, sense of justice and honor, by which every creature of the forest is worthy of respect and their own honor, even if you're going to eat them. They're still a person that you relate to. Tarzan does all that sort of stuff, even if he is the lord of the jungle, as Jake Scully turns out to be when he manages to capture a super big dragon, which most of the natives can't do. It is a bit different. It's an interesting twist with our human is inhabiting an alien body, so he's not quite the white guy walking into the native compound, although he does bumble in, much like the white guy into the native compound. His main character, who is an endearing person. The thing about the movie, as unsubtly written as it is, not all the lines are worth quoting. It does have this really engaging story that draws you in, and a place. It takes you to a place that you really enjoy being. It's scary as the megafauna is trying to squish you or eat you, but it's also beautiful, and the people are pretty sympathetic. Not really are pretty sympathetic. The humans come out as a bunch of wankers, if I may use a local Scottish term. So Avatar has a lot to say about interracial politics and land clearances and urban-rural relations and raping the environment for profit. So in sum, anthropologists, I think, should be mildly worried about this movie in the sense that it shows how invisible and irrelevant we are to mainstream writers and thinkers and movie makers, let alone moviegoers.